Joining us now, Congressman, 6th District, Ben Cline. Congressman, great to have you, sir.
Always great to be with you, John.
Let's get to your 6th District Convention coming up on Saturday. Well, here's the good news. You're not being challenged for the nomination, so that's good. So you didn't have the same fate as Denver Riggleman in these whack job conventions that I hate. But there is a challenge for the 6th District Chairman. What's going on there, sir?
Well, we're just excited about 6th District Convention with great turnout. We hope everybody who registered to be a delegate wants to show up at Liberty University Thomas Road Baptist Church between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. to vote and show that the 6th District, forget about the 9th, the 6th is the reddest district in Virginia.
The convention, it is the reddest district. Trump is going to carry that. I've gotten various information saying that there is a high percentage of unregistered voters in the 6th District who, if they registered, would vote for Trump or vote for Republicans. Is that true or false, Ben?
We've always got room to improve our record. So if we can register more folks to vote for Trump this November, it's a better chance of us holding the 6th and bringing Virginia back into the red fold. You know, people are writing us off in Washington. They're saying Virginia's blue now. There's no turning back. Washington suburbs control the result for the rest of us, that we have no say in who gets to represent Virginia. I say that's bull, that Virginians, when we turn out, we can dictate our own future. And if we want Virginia to turn back to a more conservative politics, then we should be turning out to do that. So I'm going to encourage, and I know everybody in the 6th District is motivated. That's why you see all these contests up and down our party structure in the 6th, because we're all excited about winning in the 6th and electing conservative Republicans in the 6th and making sure we help provide those margins to offset what's happening in Northern Virginia. And with great nominees on the ballot in the 7th, in the 10th, in the 5th, you know, in the 1st with Rob Whitman, in the 9th with Morgan Griffith, we're gonna do a great job of regaining that congressional majority. Beating Mark Warner is a huge goal for us, but we can achieve it.
How do you get more Republicans registered in your district, Ben Cline?
Well, it's getting out there. You know, July 4th, I'm used to going to Stanton to participate in a July 4th parade. Well, the Democrat-led city council canceled the parade, and they kind of hunkered down, and of course they all got swept from power in May's elections. But I found the one parade that was going on in the whole 6th District out in a little corner of Rockingham County, and by God, I went. And I walked. I couldn't shake hands like I wanted to. Every parade I'm ever in, I love diving in and shaking hands and kissing babies. Couldn't do it. But you know what? We're out there in force. We're walking down the middle of the street, waving signs and saying, let's register to vote. We had door knocked with masks on before the parade, so we had yard signs all down the route. It was great. And there is a way to get back to this electoral victory, back to the way that you win elections, knocking on doors, making phone calls, and getting voters registered. Yes, with a mask on, but we can do it.
Well, I just got to tell you that Morgan Griffith is listening. He just texted me. He said, no, Ben, the 9th is the reddest district in Virginia. Sorry, but I have that pleasure.
I'll make a wager. You can have us both on, John, and we'll make a wager as to who's going to be reddest in November.
In your convention on Saturday, Jennifer Brown, she's the chairman. I don't want to get in the weeds here, but she's being challenged. I'm a big fan of hers. Is Jennifer Brown going to win?
Great people on both sides, and I am thrilled with the work that both sides are doing to ramp up participation in Republican politics. You know, we stand for less government. We stand for personal liberty, and that's the kind of policy that I've been taking to Washington, working hard with people like Morgan Griffith, people like Rob Whitman, people like Denver Riggleman to put in place a more conservative politics. And with help from my district committee, we're going to get it done. So whoever wins on Saturday, I'm prepared to work with them to make sure that Republicans turn out in November and we do regain that title of reddest district.
I'm for Jennifer Brown. I hope she wins. Have you made an endorsement in the Republican Party chairman's race, Ben?
I have. I support Rich Anderson, my longtime former colleague from the House of Delegates. He and I served together. I know him to be a great leader, and he was able to get elected and reelected up in Northern Virginia in Prince William County, which is a challenging environment. And ultimately, he was not successful in his most recent bid for reelection, but he wants to stay involved. He wants to make sure that we recruit and get candidates for these districts where we can elect Republicans in Northern Virginia, beating people like Socialist Lee Carter in Manassas. People in Manassas are much more level-headed than the socialists that they send to Richmond. So getting a good candidate to run against him and ultimately beat him is something that that Rich Anderson is going to do.
Well, we had a good candidate there. We had a good candidate, the guy that was on the city council. He was on my show a bunch of times. I thought he was an outstanding candidate, but for whatever reason, didn't have the money. Carter won, but I'm voting for Jack Wilson.
Well, that's the other thing. Rich Anderson can raise the money. Rich knows how much you got to raise in Northern Virginia to win. He raised it several times, and so he's been around with me. He's going to be at the 6th District Convention this weekend, meeting the folks there.
Ben, I hope you're right. I'm voting for Jack Wilson. The only reason is I've had Rich Anderson on my show 8 times. He wouldn't take a position in the 5th. He wouldn't take a position on shrinking the state central committee, getting rid of the college Republicans, getting rid of the seats for the Virginia Federation of Women who do a tremendous amount of work.
Oh,
he
tremendous.
Wouldn't take a position
he knows,
on the college
he knows like I do.
He wouldn't take a position on anything.
Just how much they do. He knows just like I do how important the YRs, the CRs, they are critical to our.
So why would you take him off the state?
Victory,
why would you take him off the state central committee then?
I don't know that he would.
Well, he didn't take a position on it. That's what aggravates me. He doesn't take a position on anything. And so, you got this gang out in the 5th and the 6th and the 9th. You got this gang out there led by Bonnie and Clyde, the Shores, rigging these conventions that want conventions and want to keep shrinking the party. And so I'm just opposed to – I think you guys you got to get rid of these conventions until people stand up to them. I think you're going to continue in other parts of Virginia to continue to shrink. So based on the fact that I can't get the guy to take a position on anything, I'm going to vote for Wilson. So
ask Wilson how much he's got in the bank account there in Richmond's RPV and how much he's raised. And I think Rich would probably be an improvement, at least in that category alone, where we need to get the money raised to compete on the state level against all these Democrats who are running.
They just got 3 new beepers. They're rolling. Beepers, yeah, really. They have a new fax machine. They have a Mr. Coffee in there. The thing is going. Look, I mean, you can't defend anything that's going on in there. I'm just frustrated that Anderson has not taken a position on getting rid of these conventions, getting rid of this rigging, and the fact that he's not taking a position on shrinking the state central is just infuriating to me, because it's a group of people. They want to keep it smaller, keep it small, control it all. Until you open this thing up, you're going to keep losing. All right, I want to get to USMCA. Let's get off inside baseball here. Big opportunity today. As you know, I'm a protectionist. I've been against NAFTA since its inception back in the day. So for me, it's pop the champagne. We finally get USMCA today, Ben. What is that going to mean?
It's going to mean a better deal for Virginia manufacturing, a better deal for Virginia farmers. We have opened up markets in Mexico to sell to Mexico from American automakers, to sell to Canada from American timber, American farm products, to compete where we didn't, thanks to NAFTA closing off too many markets. It opened some, but didn't open enough, and USMCA has gone further. And so it's going to be a great thing for American businessmen and women and the jobs that they create.
You're on the John Fredericks Radio Network. We're with Congressman Ben Cline, Republican 6th District, says this is going to be the reddest district in Virginia. They're also trying to register a lot more voters there to help make Virginia competitive. As the congressman says, he goes to D.C. and everybody says Virginia's completely blue. Let's get to school reopenings in your district. The president, really putting on a full court press yesterday, wants to see schools reopen and says until you reopen the schools, you can't reopen the economy in any meaningful way. And also, poll done, 58% of parents, they want their kids back in school 5 days a week, not 2 days a week, not 1 day a week, not online. They want them back in school. How do we drive this, Congressman Ben Cline, and get schools open in the fall?
Well, you definitely have to work at your local level with your school boards, your superintendents, to make it happen. You've got a lot of parents who want their kids back in schools, but you also have a lot of naysayers out there who are calling into their school boards and chiding. And it's, no, you can't open. No, you have to only give 2 days of in-person teaching, and then you have to keep the parents home the other 3 days to teach them at home, and we'll do digital in places where there is no internet. You know, these plans are not feasible, and our governor, bless his heart, just doesn't have a clue when it comes to what life is like on the ground out here in our part of Virginia. He doesn't understand that parents have to get back to their jobs, back to their businesses. Their kids have to socialize. They have to get back in school with their friends and start the learning process this fall. And so, you know, wearing masks in the classroom, I get it. If that's what's necessary, so be it. The kids can still learn with masks on in their desks. And you know what? That's what needs to happen at the local level. If you have to put your desks closer than 6 feet apart, so that because you can't hire new teachers because your local tax revenues have dried up, well, then have them wear masks and put them closer than 6 feet together, and make sure that they are observing the rules when it comes to coughing and sneezing, washing hands, being safe. Those kinds of rules are still in play. The 18 to 24-year-olds who all went out and partied and protested and did whatever, ignored all those rules. Now we're seeing a spike in their age group, and that's why we're seeing a spike, primarily because they're ignoring the rules. So if school divisions follow the rules, kids can go back safely, and that's what we need to do.
Are we going to see high school football in the fall?
I'd love to see high school football. I think face mask. If you have to wear a mask in order to have helmet face masks on the field, so be it. Not in play. I'm saying wear masks in the stands, and then we'll have face masks on the field.
I agree with that. I mean, I think that's a reasonable position to take, and I don't like wearing a mask. I don't think they're particularly healthy, and I know a lot of people that quarantine themselves in the hazmat bubble, and they're the ones that are getting sick now because their immune system's down. But I'll tell you this, I'd be willing to wear a mask anywhere if I could reopen the economy. I mean, that's all I'm asking for, reopen the economy, get back to school. So if you say to me, we can get back to school 5 days a week and we can reopen the economy, and part of that is you have to put a mask on when you leave the house, I'm all in. I just don't want to put a mask on if I don't get anything out of it, because I don't think it's particularly helpful. But if we can get people back to work and we can build the economy back and we can give kids a shot at a decent education, I have no problem with a mask.
We learned a lot about what works and what doesn't over the past couple of months. We've learned that, kids are not at risk of as much as adults, and that kids can be carriers, so they have to wash their hands. They have to make sure that they don't bring it home. If they have a vulnerable population in the house, you've got to make sure they stay separated from that person while they wash their hands, clean up before they can go see grandma and grandpa. But it is possible to have kids interact with other kids and not catch it and not transmit it and go through the learning process. So let's be careful and wear masks. I carry my mask in my pocket because I never know when I'm going to end up in a position where I'm less than 6 feet away from somebody in a closed environment, and they want me, or get in an elevator, and there's somebody who is expecting me to keep them from catching it. Maybe they're in a vulnerable population, and maybe I'm not symptomatic. I don't know. But so I wear the mask to be thoughtful of them, and
Smart.
That's ultimately the golden rule, and
Smart.
And we've got to follow that.
Plus, if you're in D.C., as you are, you can't go in and get a quart of milk or a bottled water without putting the mask on, so you have to have it in your pocket.
Yeah, they won't check you out, will they? They won't give you. They won't give you the milk if you.
No, and the other day, when this started, I have the favorite store. I go to a little corner grocery store. I go to all the small businesses when I'm here. That's just me, and so I wanted to get in to get milk and eggs, for the week, and they wouldn't let me in. So I just motioned the store manager over, who I know, and I said, "Hey, here's $10. Can you just get me this stuff?" He's like, "No, I can't. I can't do it. You have to put a mask on." I said, "I don't have this." About a month ago, it's like, "I don't have one." He says, "Okay, do you have a scarf?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I got a scarf. It's cold." He said, "Go home, get a scarf, put it over your face, and come back," which I did. But now, the Fräulein, my wife, got me a Houston Astros mask that says Astros World Champ 17, big logo on it. Now I put that on in D.C. just to piss off the National fans. So now
you're going to make
I
a lot
can't
of
wait to
people
put my
mad.
mask on now.
They're going to be coughing in your lettuce or your whatever you're buying there on purpose. You wear an Astros mask.
Congressman Ben Cline, thanks for being with us. Yesterday, the president pulling out of the WHO. What did you think of that?
Well, I think it's been proven that the WHO was not providing the American people, not providing the world with accurate information. They were simply feeding information that was being given to them by the Chinese that was proven false about the virus. And so I don't want my tax dollars going to be a propaganda machine. So until they can fix that, I think it's appropriate for us to hit pause and send the tax dollars to other ways to help the American people make it through this pandemic.